wanted them involved in, and something that was cohesive and done appropriately. And so that's what every year we just build on what worked and what we can do better, and who we can engage and how they can give what we can collaborate together to do, and just build on from that.
And that's a great place to start there. And Georgina, is Shirley still with you on the phone there? Excellent. And for Lismore, what are some of the learnings or challenges that you've faced along the way? Now you're going into, next year will be your 6th year in delivering this, so I'm sure you've had some experiences along the way and learnings.
I think our biggest thing was to really embrace the community members we've got and let them organise it and show us how we should be doing it, because we've got really good community out there and we've got good liaison people. We've got Georgie who's there to do things for us, and I think every year's been a learning year for us, and the communication is what helped us overcome our issues. And what we did, we took our time, I think, and we didn't expect things to be rushed. So we were quite happy to wait for things and go with the flow and make sure that the right people are the ones leading and the ones involved with it. Because unless you've got that open communication and you're prepared to really listen to people and what they want and what they need in a respectful way, I think that's what will build our day and get community involved in it. Because it's all about community and how we can improve what we do within community, because we really need just to come together as netballers and respect everybody out there on the court. And sometimes I think we forget that one size doesn't fit all, that we need to be respectful of different cultures and different people, and accept that sometimes you have to accept that things will take longer. You have to accept that some people need to do things differently. But when it happens and it happens right, it's just amazing to see the sense of community. And a netball day, that Netball Indigenous Day we had, was probably the best day I've ever attended. There was so much fun and so much community, and it stuck with me the whole time because everyone was just so friendly. Nothing was too much trouble. Something happened that was wrong, oh, that doesn't matter, we can get over that. And it was just beautiful to see what our Indigenous community can do if they're just give them our courts, give them our clubhouse and let them run an event. And it was probably the best event I've ever been at. It was just the kids were having a great time, the netball people were having a great time, and it showed, I think, our netball community what can happen and how an event can be held. That it is a community event, that families were there, everybody was there having a lovely time, and it was just wonderful. And that helped our Indigenous round because it paved the way for it, if you sort of understand what I'm getting at. And that's because we do have an Indigenous club. But I think the big thing too to overcome the issues is that we have Indigenous representation in other clubs too, so that it's spread out, and these kids are now feeling quite comfortable to go to another club and play with school friends or something there, because that club's going to be inclusive as well. And that all came out of Bundjalungs. It truly did. And without them, I don't think we'd have been where we are now.
Some good insight there. Now, Georgie, have you seen a change within the netball community since this has been introduced within Lismore Netball Association?
Families. We usually host a community game, just between the interns and the seniors, and it's an opportunity for parents and caregivers to get on the court with their kids or other community, and we kind of rotate people in and have a bit of fun. So it's getting the whole family engaged, and we play traditional games and have a sense of information sharing, but then also coming together, which is really important in our culture, to ensure that there is the opportunity for people to connect and engage with each other in a format where they feel safe. And netball, can be quite serious at times. So just to take that off a little bit and create a bit of fun, really nice.
I think that's probably the best part, is taking away the serious part of netball and actually bringing it back to its core. It's all about being fun and friendship, obviously, and talking to each other, having those yarns or discussions, and learning a little bit about each other. Talisa, now that you've gone into your 4th year at Orange, have you seen a change within your community as well?
I wouldn't say so much a change. The community took it on really positively within our association. It's just they are more cohesive with the approach. That clubs, they've designed their own Indigenous shirts, which one of them is what I'm wearing now. They've started, instead of buying just normal Gilbert balls, they're actually buying Indigenous design netballs. It's just trying to introduce them into everyday things to make it cohesive and respectful, really.
That's really exciting. Kelly, it might be still a bit early days for Ballina, but have you seen some change as well there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just the conversations that were happening leading up to our round and on the day and after, I guess everything we wanted to do, we wanted to see more Indigenous people at the games, everyone mixing together, the community coming together. And that's, I guess, the main thing. As our elder said, there's no colour in sport, and that was in his speech at our welcome. And he's, he couldn't be more bang on. That's what it's about. Like, no barriers, just everyone together. And that's what we want to see, I guess, in our club.
I think that's a great takeaway. There is no colour in sport. You're very right there. It's all about everyone having fun and participating there. Now, obviously, holding an Indigenous round for your association is one great start, but there are many other things you can do on a regular basis to promote and acknowledge culture for Indigenous and Torres Strait Islanders within your association. What are some of the other practices that you may have in place within your association? Kelly, you're still off mute, so I'll go to you.
Yeah. We're looking at getting some flagpoles, a yarning bench. The Aboriginal design balls are something that we're being looked at as our normal game balls. Umpiring shirts were discussed. Score sheets, designs on score sheets. I mean, we can make that stick all year round, not just for the Indigenous round. What else did we think? Oh, a local derby with Lismore is on the in case you didn't know Lismore, we want to talk about that. Yeah, that's about it. And just, more involvement within the club and the community in general. We looked at some post covers. That's probably on our agenda. And our netball courts are getting redone in a big Ballina Council kind of development at the moment. They're looking through plans. So we're going to have a show court. So trying to incorporate something there. I don't know what's possible at this stage because I'm not on the actual committee, but I know they're looking at something there as well. And then just our Indigenous round every year from now on the calendar. Oh, our rep dresses, they this year got a nice Indigenous design on the sides as well. Mm-hmm. So at state age every year they'll be wearing those.
Excellent. There's a lot of small little things there that have started to implement, which is really exciting stuff. Yeah. Shirley, have you got anything to add of what is going on within Lismore Netball Association other than just Indigenous round? What else are you doing to promote?
We do our acknowledgement to country every Saturday morning, and when we have meetings and everything. We have the Australian, Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander small flags within our clubhouse, but I think we need to actually make more of that and put them up on the wall somewhere. And we need to talk about, we did talk to Juliana before she sort of left about having a plaque on our clubhouse. And we've got space above our canteen that we were looking at getting an Indigenous painting, dot painting put there about community. And when we changed our rep dresses a few years ago, we put a yarning circle on them simply because we thought that was what netball should all be about. That's what we do when we're at netball, and especially at rep, we sit around in a little circle and talk to our players. And I think the whole meaning of the yarning circle was important to be on our dresses. And I think my players in my teams always know what's on our dress because we talk about it. And I think just the inclusive and respect and the fact that we're getting more Indigenous kids into rep. Like my 13-year-old team this year, I had out of 9 girls, 4 were Indigenous. And I think that's the most representation we've had in a team for a long, long time. And that was great to see. And they weren't all from the same club, which was so good. So I was really pleased with that. It was amazing.
That's great. Well, I'm a little bit conscious of time, so I'm going to end on my last question. And if anyone has any questions that they'd like to throw to the room, now is your chance to type it in the question and answer box down at the bottom of your screen. But Talise, I'll start with you and I'll get one from everybody. What's one piece of advice that you would give to an association looking to undertake a similar step? What would be the first place you would go to?
So just bringing it back to the basics and thinking about what the Indigenous round actually is about. It's about celebrating the contribution that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have to sport in the community and how we can work towards a better understanding of and reconciliation. Just bring it back, making sure it's not tokenistic with just the ribbons and the dot painting, like how those aspects of culture can create a conversation and work from there.
It's a great piece of advice. Kelly?
I guess be coming from the right place, doing it for the right reasons. And yeah, at the heart of it is, the community and for the kids and bringing them together. So what's best for the community? I mean, yeah, the tokenistic stuff can be good. It's great. You see colours bring awareness. But at the end of the day, what's the core values of what you're trying to achieve? I think if you stay true to them, it will all come together and it will come across authentically and you'll meet your goals.
That's great. Core values, I like that. And Georgina?
Oh, sorry, I thought you might have gone to Shirley.
No, okay. I'm sharing it between the two of you.
Sharing between the two of us. I think, ensuring that there's small steps each year and there is progression and the opportunity for people to come on board. Like you were saying, Kelly, we're hopeful that there are more people coming in the future. And I know when I've gone to rep carnivals and I spoke to Lauren about this, there's been conversations with other committees around what are some small steps that you can start with and build up from there, so you don't have to go the whole hog to start with. So what are some small things that each committee can do?
And Georgina, what do you think some of those small things that can be done first that are achievable?
So some of the things we talked about was, the acknowledgement of having someone come into a welcome to country. Looking at, the first year we also did of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander flags and had some great paper where kids could stick it on the flags. We've done the face painting and the hair ties and where there's a social round in the draw, putting that as an Indigenous game type of round and having people wear colours from the flags and undertaking traditional games. And traditional games are listed online, or like Shirley said, Solid Mob are able to come and do that, or there are organisations that usually can come and do some of that stuff. So linking in with local universities or Aboriginal organisations.
Some great advice there. Shirley, do you have any last words to add as advice there?
I think it's connecting with the community and making sure that the community are behind what you're doing. And it's also about changing a lot of perceptions with older members on executive who need to just maybe change their mindset and start really accepting what we're trying to do. I think we're really getting there, but I think it's little steps, and it's taken us 5 years to get the little steps, but I think it will grow. I really do, because we've got some very strong people in our association now who are driving what we need to do to be inclusive. And it's about respect and listening and getting your community involved.
That's some great takeaways there. So just to wrap everything up this evening, I'd like to thank our panellists, Georgina, Kelly, Talise and Shirley, for sharing their insights, experience and time tonight. I greatly appreciate, guys. I think there's some great key takeaways for associations and members on the webinar tonight to take home and also take back to their communities and start those discussions on what those steps could be for them. I'd like to thank you all for attending as well. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and the conversation that we've had. As I've previously said, tonight was our final webinar in our WRAP series, and I thank you for supporting these conversations. I would also like to thank the previous panellists who have also shared their time and insight to these. This webinar series has been a fantastic opportunity for us all to come together and have these conversations and learn from each other, with a common goal of making our sport a more welcoming, inclusive and culturally safe space. Until then, thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you soon around the court. So thank you, guys.